Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting through the noise around the ketogenic diet. You know, keto.
That high-fat, very low-carb plan you hear so much about.
Exactly. Our mission here is to really unpack how it works metabolically, what it's doing inside your body, and maybe help you figure out if it's, well, right for you.
And it has such a fascinating history.
It really does. Here's something maybe you didn't know. Before all the weight loss buzz, keto was actually developed way back in the 1920s.
By Dr. Russell Wilder?
At the Mayo Clinic, yeah. As a treatment for epilepsy. Quite a shift from its origins to now, isn't it?
Absolutely. It just shows how profoundly it affects our metabolism.
Yeah.
A therapeutic tool becoming a mainstream diet.
Yeah.
Wild.
So normally our bodies love glucose from carbs, right? That's the go-to fuel.
Yep, default setting.
But keto basically throws a wrench in that. You limit carbs so much, typically under 50 grams a day, which is not much at all.
Very little. And that forces the body to find a completely different fuel source.
Okay, let's unpack this. How does that metabolic switch actually happen? What's going on inside?
Well, what's fascinating here is the liver becomes the star. When glucose is scarce, the liver takes fatty acids and converts them into these things called ketone bodies.
Ketones.
Okay. The process is called ketogenesis, literally making ketones. These ketones then step up as an alternative fuel.
For what parts of the body?
For the brain, muscles, heart, kidneys. Quite a lot, actually. And crucially, the brain. It normally runs heavily on glucose and can't use fatty acids directly.
So ketones are like a workaround fuel for the brain.
Exactly. It's a pretty profound adaptation, really.
Okay, so the body is making these ketones, but people hear ketones and sometimes think of ketoacidosis. How do we tell the difference? That seems important.
Oh, it's a critical distinction. Physiological ketosis, the state that diet aims for, is perfectly normal and safe. Your ketone levels are up, sure, but they're balanced. Your blood pH stays stable. Ketoacidosis, on the other hand, is dangerous. It's when ketones rise uncontrollably, making the blood acidic. It's usually linked to untreated type 1 diabetes.
So not something a healthy person typically gets just from doing keto?
Generally, no. There are some rare, very specific cases, maybe with newborns or sometimes during pregnancy or lactation if someone gets ill. But for most healthy adults following the diet, it's ketosis, not ketoacidosis. Totally different things.
Got it. So thinking about the actual food, the standard keto plate is roughly, 70% fat?
Around that, yeah. Then maybe 20% protein and only about 10% carbs. But it's a range, not super rigid percentages for everyone.
So what kind of foods fill up that plate?
You're looking at meats, fatty fish like salmon or sardines. Eggs are great. Lots of non-starchy vegetables. Think leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower.
Okay.
You can have small amounts of berries, maybe some citrus. Nuts and seeds in moderation. Full-fat dairy, cheese, and of course healthy fats are olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, butter.
And on the flip side, what's definitely out?
Well, pretty much all sugary stuff. Soda, candy, cakes, most fruits actually. Sweetened yogurts, even sauces like ketchup can have hidden sugars.
Right, the hidden carbs.
Definitely. And then all the starchy foods. Bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, legumes, grains. All out. Most alcohol too, because of the carbs or how it's metabolized.
Okay. Now let's talk benefits. Why do people do this? Weight loss is a big one, right?
For sure. The evidence is pretty solid for weight loss. Also for improving blood sugar control, especially for people with type 2 diabetes.
How so?
Well, meta-analyses show it can help reduce body weight, waist size, and crucially, HbA1c. That's your long-term blood sugar marker. It can also lower triglycerides and sometimes raise HDL, the good cholesterol. Plus, many people report feeling less hungry.
And we mentioned epilepsy earlier. It's still used for that.
Absolutely, especially for treatment-resistant epilepsy in children. And there's ongoing research, quite exciting actually, into its potential for other neurological conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, or maybe tricky, the downsides. What are the risks we need to talk about?
Right, it's not all smooth sailing. Short term, many people get the keto flu.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah. Headaches, fatigue, maybe some dizziness, constipation. Usually passes as your body adapts, but it's unpleasant.
And longer term?
Well, there are concerns about nutrient deficiencies. If you cut out entire food groups, like fruits, many veggies, whole grains, you might miss out on important stuff. Vitamins A, C, K, folate, and especially fiber.
Fiber is a big one.
It is. And then critically, cardiovascular health. While HDL might go up, LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, can increase significantly in some people.
That sounds worrying.
It's definitely something to watch. The American College of Cardiology actually found a link between diets described as keto-like and a higher risk of things like heart attacks and strokes.
Wow. Okay. Any other long-term concerns?
The picture is still a bit murky on things like kidney stones or potential liver issues over many years. Plus, there's just the general concern about reducing your intake of foods we know are protective fruits, vegetables, whole grains.
And just sticking to it seems hard.
That's perhaps the biggest reality check. Sustainability. It's very restrictive. That makes it tough to maintain long-term for most people.
So they stop and
Often regain the weight. Really, the best diet is one you can actually stick with consistently and feel good on.
which underlines the need for guidance, right? You shouldn't just jump into this alone.
Absolutely critical. Talk to a doctor or a registered dietitian, especially if you have any underlying health conditions, diabetes, heart issues, kidney problems, anything like that. They can help figure out the right macros for you, monitor side effects, and see if it's even appropriate.
Are there maybe less extreme alternatives?
Definitely. For many people wanting better health or weight management, focusing on reducing simple or refined carbs, the sugary drinks, white bread, pastries, while increasing complex carbs makes more sense.
Like what?
Things rich in nutrients and fiber. Think vegetables, some fruits, legumes, whole grains in moderation, maybe swapping pasta for zucchini noodles or white rice for cauliflower rice sometimes. Small shifts. Paired with overall healthy eating and regular physical activity, that's often much more sustainable.
So, wrapping this up, what's the takeaway for you, the listener? Keto fundamentally changes how your body uses fuel, shifting to fat and ketone.
It clearly offers benefits, especially for weight loss, blood sugar control in type 2 diabetes, and epilepsy.
But it comes with real risks, nutrient gaps, the keto flu, serious cardiovascular concerns for some, and it's tough to stick with long term.
The information is out there now, The choice involves weighing those pros and cons for your own situation.
Ultimately, maybe the most powerful deep dive isn't just into one specific diet trend like keto, but into what truly sustains your personal health and well-being over the long haul. What strategies unique to you can you adopt for lasting health and making choices that feel genuinely informed?